estate company. What do you mean exactly? Because as a real estate company, there's so many things you can do. Like in your case, auctions and selling land and having a retail operation as well as maybe a wholesale operation. What are your plans?
Jason, you want to take that one?
Sure, absolutely. I think by comprehensive, I think we're continually looking for ways to leverage our business model into other areas that are helpful to our clients. We work with basically every large mortgage servicing or bank institution in the country, and at various times different organizations have different needs that they need fulfilled, and look at our business model as something that they can leverage into that. Red Crown was actually at the request of a specific client, and like any good partner, we went down the road of trying to develop a integrated broker, online marketing, take all the things that we're kind of good at and put together a program for that client. It really didn't work out to the extent that we had hoped, and like any good entrepreneurial environment, you take the good with the bad, and we moved on. Actually, Red Crown is no longer a brand under REDC, and that's been the case for some time now. But similarly, we've also moved into the pre-foreclosure area, where we're leveraging a lot of those same skill sets and technologies to work with borrowers trying to avoid foreclosure. That's been a huge success, and we lead the industry today in things like deed in lieu, short sales, and those types of activities. Again, at the request of our clients, we've entered those markets. We've also expanded beyond residential real estate and have a very robust and industry-leading business using a lot of the same tools in the commercial space, multifamily space, where we're helping move property that belongs to some of the larger institutional investors out there.
Wow, so that is very comprehensive. I want to really dive a little bit deeper in regard to what you're doing with short sales. Short sales seem to dominate the marketplace right now. And every realtor on this call, real estate professional, would love to get an REO account and a managed asset, but what seems to be dominating are short sales. Do you guys have a top-down model where you are assigning short sales to agents? What's happening in that
actually,
space?
we've approached the short sale very, very differently. I think anybody on this call can probably share their war stories around trying to work with banks and how difficult it can be to take a property that they do already have a listing on, that they have a willing buyer on, that they have a good value on. They have all the different elements that they need to be able to transact a short sale. And the wall that they hit is when they get to the servicing entity, to the bank, there just doesn't seem to be the ability to execute the transaction. Mm-hmm. And so rather than entering the market as another play, I think you referred to it as a top-down player where we go off and try to create the short sale, we're actually trying to get short sales approved. Mm-hmm. And so our business model is much more to try to understand why it is these banks want to do short sales, and the folks on this call want to do the short sale. Why they're not happening is really where we focus. And so, I call what we do in the short sale space as an augmentation. We go into a bank, we identify who their investors are, what the different mortgage instruments are that they are responsible for managing, and what the different approval structures look like, so that when somebody does come in and look to get an approval, we can do that very, very quickly. And it's been a completely new approach to how to solve this problem, and it's a growing approach. And I think they're going to be hearing more and more about banks that can turn around an offer in a week or two, because rather than starting with the submittal of the offer and trying to get 6 different approvals to get that deal done, we try to resolve the 6 different issues, and so when the offer comes in, we can turn around more like a traditional REO transaction and get that offer approved for the realtor within a week or two.
So can realtors participate with you now on this, or is this in development?
Well, so I don't work directly with a realtor. What I do is I basically serve as the bank. Some of your realtors may have had the experience where they think they're submitting an offer to the bank. It's actually my team behind the scenes that's actually trying to get the deal done. Mm-hmm. And so because we work really as a partner to the bank, we stay on that side of the wall rather than getting into the buyer, the seller, and the realtor's shoes, which I think is already a pretty well-developed market. Mm-hmm. We basically are just augmenting what the bank is doing and trying to get those approvals. My clients are more the banks, the investors, Fannie and Freddie, those types of, the mortgage insurance companies, basically the lien holders that are holding up the transactions.
Now, some realtors, in trying to, find the path of least resistance, they are sourcing for people who are in default with certain banks. There are particular banks they prefer to work with because it seems like the bank is more cooperative, they're more responsive, the process is much faster. What would be, in your case, since they can't necessarily work directly with you, what are some institutions that you guys are acting as the processor, if you will? I'm not sure how to describe it, but that where the process is maybe, much, much faster than what they've experienced in the past.
Well, and so I would just warn you to say that this is a growing area of business for us. And there are some institutions, for confidentiality, I can't share the specific names, but when you think about the largest institutions out there, they're starting to grab onto this. So your Bank of Americas, your Fannie Mae's, some of the larger organizations out there are starting to understand that, even though their absolute desire is to complete these transactions, their ability to get them completed is hamstrung. I hope to be solving that problem. We are doing it in pockets right now, and I think over the next 6 months, your folks on this call will hear more and more about that.
Okay, sounds great. So, where does auction come into play? You rebranded to an auction. You were known as REDC. You're still known as REDC. Are you trying to phase that out? And this question is really to Rob. Are you phasing that out and you're now auction.com, or are you going to always be REDC?
No, as I mentioned earlier, the goal is to always be selling and always be marketing.
Okay.
And when you think about it, auction.com really takes people right into where we want them to be. It shows them our inventory. It gives them an opportunity to purchase a piece of property. And so the goal is really to rebrand totally to auction.com.
I see. So one thing that we know about REDC, we know REDC not only as an auction company but as an asset management company. As an asset management company, you have REO brokers who are looking to do business with you to get assignments and that kind of thing. As an auction company, that opportunity necessarily isn't communicated.
Well, first of all, we are participating with buyers brokers at auction.com, and it's really dictated by the servicer what kind of commission, but it's typically 1% to 3%, and it's really a very simple process for the broker, or for the agent. If they bring someone or they sign up a buyer, they get paid. And frankly, by the time the properties get to us, the banks are somewhat motivated, ready to sell. And if people were to go out, advertise, get buyers, take them to our open houses, make sure they're informed buyers, and bring them to the auction or hold their hand during the live auction, I think it's a fabulous business opportunity. I know there's a lot of very smart agents out there that are doing just that, If these folks would go out into their communities and, even post signs or run little ads about how to buy properties at auction and then just take those people and sign them up, I think they could do very well.
So do you think selling properties by auctions, is that going to dominate the market in 2011? I've heard it said that 2010 was a year of modification, 2011 is a year of liquidation. Do you think auctions are going to really dominate the marketplace as opposed to banks using the traditional means of first short selling or the REO?
I think it's going to be a combination of all of the above. I mean, the bottom line is all of our clients are still listing most of their properties with agents and giving them first crack at selling the properties. The typical property that we get are properties that the brokers have not been able to sell or the agents have not been able to sell for 90 to 120 days, and then they'll reassign them. They'll put them in our auction. So, the cream of the crop is still going to the agents directly.
So is the agent cut out of the deal at that point? Or are they still involved once the transaction?
No, they still participate and they still get paid a commission. And we've worked with a lot of brokers and a lot of agents who love it when their properties get assigned to us and they get to work with us because they get the horsepower of auction.com. I mean, we're spending upwards towards, $40 million a year in marketing that brand. And so we're getting a tremendous amount of traffic. I think last month we had over 1 million visits to the website. So we're getting a tremendous amount of buyers to the site to help sell those properties. So, it's becoming very synergistic all the way around.
Now, are there lead opportunities for for agents, particularly buyer's agents? If you have buyers just going to your website and finding property and perhaps are not represented by a buyer's agent, are there lead opportunities within auction.com? Do you guys have a program where you are referring agents or buyers to agents?
No, typically, we're going to ask that that the buyer's broker or the buyer's agent would bring the buyer to the auction site. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I see. So in every case at an auction, the buyers are always represented by an outside broker. You don't have like in-house agents anymore that would represent that buyer.
No, we do not.
So this is a tremendous opportunity for a buyer's agent. What's your current inventory now of homes for sale on your auction website?
I believe if you were to go to auction.com, you'd see almost 4,000 properties.
4,000 properties. And that would be nationwide or just here in California?
That's nationwide, yeah.
Okay. Would you happen to know what it would be in California, particularly Orange County?
Off the top of my head, I don't know that answer. What's great about the website, though, is anybody here in about 30 seconds can pop on to auction.com, type in Orange County, and get a listing of everything that is coming up for sale in the next 45 days.
Yes, our search functionality makes it very simple, and just to add to what Jason said, if you go in and to make things really easy, we have great push technology, which simply means if you go in and register with auction.com and then say, I want all single-family dwellings in my county to be emailed to me when they hit the site, they will be automatically emailed to you in one concise report. You can have that weekly or you can have that daily. That's at no cost. And I would highly recommend that because, you get online, that's like you ask for your farm territory to be sent to you. Right. And then when you see things that come up, forward them to to buyers in your area that are looking at that type of property, register those buyers, and you've made a deal. And it's a very simple process.
Wow, it sounds really simple. Now, what is the benefit to the buyer going to auction.com as opposed to going the more traditional route with the realtor and checking the MLS and trying to find something that fits their needs and that whole process?
Well, I would have to say that the benefit of the buyer is, of course, they're now dealing with it's no longer a short sale. It's an REO. The seller is definitely motivated, and they're going to get an answer, on auction day whether they bought the property or not. It's a very clear, concise transaction, and it's very, very simple.
Now, what about the auction, the frequency of the auction? So when is your next auction? Are they, perhaps say here in Orange County, or is that posted as well on the website?
Oh, absolutely. We make it as user-friendly as possible to find out when all the auctions are, and we have a whole calendar on the